शिव छुई थले थले रोजा शिव छुई थले थले रोजा
Abhay Sopori ji is from the Sufiana Gharana of Kashmir, the exclusive traditional Santoor family of India, spanning over 9 generations and 300 years. He learned Santoor under the traditional Guru Shishya Parampara of his mystic Shaivite Sufi grandfather, Shambhu Nath Sopori, who's considered to be the father of classical music in Kashmir. It is said that every classical musician in Kashmir either is a direct disciple or an indirect disciple of his grandfather. So this is the parampara that he comes from. And, Abhay was just a prodigy. He was the youngest classical musician to compose and conduct orchestras. There is so many, he has won so many awards, and he would always be the youngest person to receive that award. He's known for his versatility, his innovations, and experimentation. He's recently made a debut in Bollywood also, and that was the movie Shikhara by Bindu Vinod Chopra, and he composed the songs, and the score was set by A.R. Rahman. And this movie Shikhara is about the exodus of Kashmir, which
I think movie is Shikara, Mansi.
Shikara, and and this whole movie is based on the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits. And what was really, remarkable, what was so remarkable was that Pandit Abhay has also, his whole family and so many others like him have been a part of that exodus. And what I almost couldn't believe, that there is no resentment in Abhayji's voice. There is no bitterness. In fact, Panditji goes to the borders of Kashmir, where even the security will not go. In fact, it is so close to the border that if Abhayji sings, his voice can go to Pakistan. He's that close to the border where even other people, armed forces, will not go. He goes because he feels that is where they need it the most. Like, this is his compassion, in the movie Shikara. There are many people, who said that there were certain brutal things were not shown. And Panditji was like, we want to give the message, but we also want to heal. We don't want to create more aggression. We don't want to divide people further. And I cannot believe that this is the beauty, like this is the essence of Panditji. It was unbelievable. Like, after I talked to him, I immediately called Shivo, because I was like, who's this Dev Purush? Because I couldn't, everywhere I was just sharing that, because not just to have that bitterness. I feel that you may have been, there are certain societal elements that would have pushed you away from Kashmir, but I think that Kashmir lives in you, and when we see you, we experience the beauty of Kashmir. And really, thank you so much, Panditji, for being with us.
And I have to say, I really bow down to Abhay Sopori. This is the true essence of Hinduism. We talk about Hindus being the Vishwaguru. So we become Vishwaguru not by dominating other religions, but by loving, embracing, and accepting those religions, loving them. And it's truly remarkable how, I was present for his session. How I've always been amazed by how the Bhakti music and Sufi music have become one, And I've always thought that bhakti is like there is that Param Brahma and you access that. And it is descending, channeling through you. And Sufi always think like there is this human being, he is full of all kind of, evils and, ignorance, and he is trying to move up. So in the language of quantum science, we say that bhakti marg is like the downward causation, means God is coming down into us, and Sufi is like upward causation, that a individual human is trying to reach God. And what I see in Pandit Abhayji's music is there this downward causation, upward causation, both are meeting, and that is the true beauty. And I always say that, a lot of people talk about the Islam has been very aggressive, which is also true. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, there is a stream of Islam which is very, very beautiful. That stream is Sufism. And if you see in classical music, the Hindustani classical has become so beautiful because the Bhakti and Sufi have merged into one. And that really shows the way of, see, Hindu religion is all about synthesis. There have been so many different religions, they all got synthesized into Hinduism. And really it is also showing the way for synthesis with Sufism. Yes. Yeah, Mansi, to you.
So Panditji, could you, yeah. Panditji, welcome. What I wanted to ask you, it seems that the place where Hinduism and Muslims, Islam has actually met and created something beautiful is classical music. How can classical music resolve conflicts? I cannot think of a better person to ask this question, really.
All my regards to Shivoji and to you as well, Mansiji, and everybody who is present here. And though I'm at home, but unfortunately, because of the present problem that is going around, which I caught, so I have to wear this mask, and I have a little bit of a throat issue, so maybe I'm not sure how good my voice is coming. It was such a pleasure to meet Shivoji in Gwalior after the concert, and today we are again meeting. So it's absolutely beautiful. One small request: just call me Abhay. Just no need to call me with
Love
any
it,
title.
just call me Shivo. That's how the quantum
Same
family
here,
is.
please, please, yeah.
Love it.
Well, music is absolutely beautiful, be it classical music. Of course, classical music is the topmost form that we can have. But even if it's folk music, it's devotional music, till it's music, it's something which is beautiful and it's divine. We have, commercial aspects attached to music. There could be certain songs, or there could be certain genres uh, which would not be good for the soul. I'm sure not even for the ears. But those are different. But in general, uh, the music, uh, it's so deeply connected to every individual on this planet, and I'm sure beyond. The only problem is that we don't realize it. Somewhere down the generations, what has happened, people focused more on the materialistic aspects of living rather than the true essence of being on this planet. God, if the Almighty has given us this body which can actually work, apart from doing whatever we do on this planet, there is a journey which we have to follow. And I think if we realize that through any medium, and like the Quanto Life we have, that's a beautiful medium for people to join in. Whatever medium they have, they just need to realize uh, what is that connection between the ultimate energy and a person. And that is what music talks about. That is what spirituality talks about. That is what Shaivism talks about. That is what Sufism talks about. The philosophical aspect of religions, uh, those also talk about the same thing. Uh, there are different thoughts in some people feel it differently, but that is slightly different. But when we talk about our religion, if we talk about Hinduism, uh, it, it's much above you know just simply a religion. Frankly speaking, Hinduism is actually not a religion. It's the way you have to live your life. It's a deep philosophy. And I remember when, as a small kid, when I started learning, my father, he said that you have to treat raga like a philosophy. And you have to think what the raga is saying. And every time you think about that particular raga, you will get something new. A new door will open, and the interpretation for that raga will change. And this is one of the reasons you must have heard many of the senior musicians, in their 80s or 90s, they say our entire life has gone and we still feel that we are on the shore of the ocean, yet to go into the deep waters. And the music is so deep. Now, this depth is only in classical music because it just keeps on unfolding, one fold after another, one fold after another. We have hundreds and hundreds of ragas. Each raga is a different expression. Each raga uh, uh, opens up different doors of creativity. And I think as human beings, it's very important that we have this connect of creating, of creativity. It would be a worthless life if we don't follow this path of creation. And creation doesn't just mean that you need to create a new song or you need to create some new bridge on the road or something. Creativity is whatever we do. At the end of the day, we should be happy that we did something and it contributes something to somebody's life, and if not anybody else, to a person's own life. And music is the most beautiful part of that creation. uh, One should be into any form of creation. It could be painting, it could be sculpture, it could be just anything. But when we talk about music, then we are talking about sound. And when we talk about sound, then it's the basic connection between the Almighty and us as human beings. In Shaivism of Kashmir, one of the very great Shaivite saints of Kashmir, Laleshwari, uh, uh, her writings, we call it Vak. Today, Shivo, I'm not carrying my instrument because of my health. I really can't sit for too long, and I
I
could
just
sit.
want to, because you mentioned about Lalla. So I just want to mention there was a time in 2 years back, and we have a lot of these channelings and downloads of different people, the great people. So one day, 2 years back, I think it was, Mansi started to share about the life of Lalla, and she hasn't heard of her at all. And she doesn't even know the name. She is just describing her. And so I told her that, listen, this is Lalla, you are channeling her right now. And then she checked up Google, find out about her. So Mansi, you want to share something? You tapped into the life of
How do
Lalla.
you remember all this, Shivo? How do you remember after like, I am just amazed how you
Every
remember.
all of these divine experiences I can never forget.
Yes, I mean, so this was my description about her, and I could feel that this fold, and it was just, it was, in a very small way, I've always seen Krishna as a lover, and, like as a beloved, and, all I can remember of Lalla is how Shiva was her beloved, and how like just her connection, because for me, I don't remember the words, I only remember the bhav, that will stay with me forever. Like right now I can feel I cannot remember the words, but it was just that devotion, because I had till then I had only seen male devotion, maybe Mirabai, but really that was what I had seen. I had seen prayers, I had seen that, but for me, that it can be as intense, as beautiful. In fact, and this was the first time I could understand the sadhana, because until then it felt very masculine. And here it felt completely different, and it felt that it was like she was like my guide, and that this is also a path. This is also a path. So I cannot believe that you have remembered her today. I'm sure the vibrational field is flowing through you, because and Shiva, I'm also reminded of Ma Nirmala Mata, and
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
yeah,
She also
going on.
appeared few days back. Actually, she also
So
appeared few days back. I think few weeks back. And yeah,
Max,
Mansi
so
will share.
yeah, so actually, again,
Mansi will share what
apparently,
message she gave you, and then we all felt that
oh
message. I
yeah,
think.
oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that actually. So uh, so as you said, Abhay, I know we are making you really sit. I know you're very Shiva. We are really giving him too much trouble.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
we're going
not
on
at all.
talking,
I'll,
and we.
I'm really loving
I
this
really.
session. It's just that once we are done with this part of the thing, then I'll really ask for an excuse, and please excuse
Of
me
course.
that
No,
time,
I
and I'll leave
totally.
after that. But yeah, coming
Yes.
coming back to Laleshwari. We have
Mhm.
different names for Laleshwari. Of course, Laleshwari is the name. We call her Lala, we call her Laldet, we call her Lalmerj. Merj means mother in Kashmiri language. And equally respected in Shaivism as well as Sufism. Now, basically, Shaivism, if we have to define Shaivism, and if anybody is not well versed with Shaivism, so in nutshell, if we have to say, so the followers of Lord Shiva, that branch is Shaivism. Like we have Vaishnavism, we have Shaivism. But in Kashmir, Shiva uh, is much above than the pictorial form of Shiva that we see. For in Shaivism, when we talk about Shiva, then we basically talk about the ultimate energy that we have. So in the writings of Laleshwari, we call them Vak. In one of the Vaks, Laleshwari says that the Shiva resides everywhere. He's omnipresent, and a person should get into get entangled into these isms wherein she refers to both Hinduism as well as Islam. And if a person is wise, if a person once a person identifies himself, that is the understanding of the God. And when you have that understanding, you get that connect of the God. I haven't sang for last 2 weeks. I'm not sure how good I can sing right now, but I'll just sing a couple of lines of this vak. The
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
so it's the let me put on a tanpura.
Thank you so much for this, Abhay, because you have not been well and
It's
you really
perfectly
touched
fine.
it.
Unfortunately, we have this COVID going around. I tried to myself, I don't know who gave me so much of love. I tried to remember, but really can't get the person from whom I got it and further gave it to so many people at home. So, about this work, the. Hmm, so she says, Shivachui Thali Thali Rozan, which is Shiva resides everywhere. Mauzan Hundatai Musalman. So don't get into this trap of Hinduism and Muslim Islam. Trukai Chuk Panun Pan Parzan. When you identify yourself, Soi Chai Sahibas Zinizan. That is your understanding of the God. So, mm, 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 mm. शिव छुई थले थले रोजा शिव छुई थले थले रोजा Mozan Hundatai Musalman Trukai Chuk Panun Pan Parzan Soy Chai Sahib Zanizan. Now, what beautiful message we have here by Lalishwari. In another vak, she says, and this is absolutely beautiful. She says, Amyapan Sadras Navichaseo Laman Karbos Daimyon Metidietar Amen Takyan Ponazan Shraman Dilchum Brahman Gargas, which basically means that it has been translated. It's not my translation, it's been translated by one of the very great scholars. I'm just quoting what he said, that with the rope of loose spun thread that I'm towing my boat upon the sea, would God heard my prayer and brought me safe across. Like water in cups of unbaked clay, I run to waste. Would God I were to reach my home. So the entire thought, entire philosophy, it's so deep and so beautiful. The Amyapan Sadras Amyapan Sadras Navyachasyo Lama Karboz Daimyo Metadita Amyantakyan Ponzan Shrama Dil chumbrama gargas ha. Basically, Kashmir, the entire region, it's been so rich, and unfortunately, with the historians that have been there, sorry, they have either been not from our country or not from the region and have had vested interests. So their writing of history of Kashmir has always been very different, and it's the interest which changed the history. As it is, we have always seen that when we had any ruler coming and trying to establish his regime and take control over a particular region. So, couple of things that happened that time. Number one, they always tried to destroy the culture of the area, because the moment you destroy the culture, the area is totally changed. So that is what every ruler tried to do. Whatever rulers, whether they came to any part of India or across India, or they came to a particular region, suppose they came and established their power in Kashmir. So they destroyed whatever was written till then. They destroyed the history, tried to create a new history which would benefit them. And it still happens, because if we talk about Kashmir, say for example, so we have people who say Santoor is not an instrument of Kashmir. So primarily what they are trying to say that Santoor is not an Indian instrument, trying to disassociate Kashmir from India. Now, this India is not the India which actually got created in 1947. We are talking about Bharat, which existed thousands and thousands and thousands of years back. We talk about Mahabharata, we talk about Bharat, we talk about Ramayana, we talk about Bharat, and it's a land. And this Bharat was a huge land. When we say if we go by Mahabharata and we say Gandhari was brought as one of the queens, so we are actually talking about Afghanistan. One of the queens of I think Arjun, or I've forgotten the name. So that queen actually came from the region which is presently the central, side, which is Iran area and all, that particular area. So Bharat was spread from that area and went much ahead of the Himalayas, and so that is the Bharat we talk about. So they want to disassociate, they want to cut the links between the present area of Jammu and Kashmir with our country, and it has nothing to do with 1947 or whatever period we talk about. So they say Santoor is not Kashmiri instrument. And if we go by these historians, so-called historians, I would call them, poor people are still illiterate. So this instrument came from Iran. And then they'll say that, in the 14th century, when we had the influence in Kashmir of the Persian influence, so that is the time when this instrument was brought to Kashmir. And the another statement which they'll say, because that my father has established that fact, which they can't, say anything to that. So they'll say, okay, the ancient name of this instrument is Shatatantri Veena. Now, if this is Shatatantri Veena, then we are actually talking about 3rd and the 4th century documents that we have. So we have Nilmat Purana, where we have, a documented history of Shatatantri Veena. But they'll say, okay, fine, even if it was there in Kashmir in 3rd century or earlier, but we still, we had many reasons to get the same instrument from Iran in the 14th century. So people don't talk about logic, don't talk about sense. They just want to change for personal benefits or whatever interests they have. But if we talk about Santoor, see, Santoor is one of the instruments which is actually a yantra in itself. The only instrument on this planet which is actually a yantra. It's not just a musical instrument. And the yantra which this instrument is, it's the yantra in which we find the balance of the Shiva and the Shakti. So we have, the yantra. So when we see the yantra, uh, we find lots of triangles in Sri Yantra. Everybody of us, we must have seen the Sri Yantra. So we have an upward triangle, we have a downwards triangle, which basically represent the Shiva and the Shakti, and the combination of these triangles form the energy, form the essence of energy that we have, which can even be in modern, present times. We can say, the generations created are part of the combination of the Shiva and the Shakti. And if you see in that yantra, between those triangles, you will find this instrument, which is Santoor. So Santoor is so deeply associated with Kashmir. Now, why I'm saying, not because I play this instrument, but the
Wow.
sound of Kashmir, the sound of Santoor, when we talk about, say, Nad Yoga, so people at times they talk about sound therapy and land up actually talking about music. But music is just the medium of, uh, taking that nad yoga, taking that sound therapy, or taking that sound or the nad, whatever we say. So melody is the medium for that. But what actually is being carried forward in that process is the sound. Now, sound is actually the tone. And if we try to analyze a tone, and if we just, in a layman's language, we have to design a sound. So we might just create a small circle and say, okay, fine, this is a sound texture. And then if we compare it with the body cells, and that is, I think, I really don't need to tell people out here because you are so much into the same thing. So the impact of this sound and the impact that it has on the cells of the body, that is which is really effective, and that is what is Nad Yoga. And this Nad Yoga is so deeply into Kashmir, and that's why we had the Kundalini Yoga so strong in Kashmir. We have had saints after another. Basically, Lalishwari talks about Kundalini Yoga. She talks about Nad Yoga. Her disciple Sheikhul Alam, or Nundrishi, as we call him, he spoke about the same thing. It's just that it was so coded that people actually couldn't understand. And there have been people who actually lost their senses, their proper senses, because they couldn't understand this cycle of traveling through the chakras of the body. And what beautiful thing, we have the 7 notes, we have the 7 chakras, the rainbow has 7 colors. 7 is very important number that we have. And I think you were just talking about Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi also. And she
Yes.
actually, Sri Mataji made the Kundalini Yoga so easy, which was otherwise so difficult for people to understand. Now, even, anybody can give realization to anybody. Shri Mataji blessed me a lot. I mean, if you like my music, it's you
Wow.
have to thank Papa and Shri Mataji for that. I hardly do anything, and I actually created a raga in Shri Mataji's name,
Wow.
and
Uh, Abhay,
yesterday we were.
can we give a little history, because some of our Quanto people are a part of this history, and I really feel that we should, Shiva, should we just give a little reference about Shri Nirmala
Yes,
Mataji?
yes.
So because it will add into. Sorry, is
Please,
this my
please.
phone? Sorry, sorry. So this happened maybe a month or two back, and at around 3:30, I think my eyes, I just woke up and I saw, and I didn't know. I mean, I remember seeing her picture, like I'm so probably ignorant about many things. I mean, she was like looming in front of me, just her face was just looming, and the big tikka and her hair and her face, and she was like, I just felt a transmission, and I didn't know who she was. So I said, my guru is Shivo. Can he be here too? Because she said, I felt that she was transmitting, and then I could feel Shivo. And she put her hand on both of us. And one by one, everyone in our Quanto Life started touching us and receiving that transmission. And I didn't even know who she was. I put it up that this is the description, and people are sending me one after, they're sending me pictures, first of Ma Anandmay Devi, and I said, no, I know her. And then this, and then finally, I think Nitika sent, and I was like, yes, 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 this is the person. And then I immediately said, Shivo, is this okay? What just happened? And he said, of course. And now I feel that today, that vision through you and through what you are, I feel that she has sent you really to us. And I just wanted to give that, I think Quanto people, especially in Arkhandiya, would be knowing the story, when it happened like 2 months ago. So, and I really feel that she has sent you away. And I just wanted to give a little bit of history while we hear your, that vision has now come true in a way that we
See,
didn't even know this before. Just yesterday when I Googled you, I found out about,
so, Sri Mataji basically is Adi Shakti. And if we talk about Adi Shakti, so we can say she was here as uh, जिसे हम कहते हैं रूप, एक देवी का रूप. सो वो पार्वती माँ का रूप रही हैं. But of course, these energies, only the physical form goes away. We can, we feel their presence all the time. So now this raga I created, Papa had created a raga basically when we met Sri Mataji for the first time. So we didn't know. I was too young. I was not even performing that day with Papa. It was Papa's performance. So they kept on delaying Papa's performance. It was supposed to be somewhere in the evening, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And it kept on, they said, the mother says that she would like to listen to you a little later. And later went on, went on, went on. And finally, around 12 o'clock, Papa was invited. And on stage, Papa came to know that it's her birthday. That was our first meeting. So Papa said, give me a few minutes. And Papa, I don't know what he thought. And then he said, I didn't know anything. And, the only present that I can give you is through my music. And I'll be working on this. It's a new structure because I've just thought about it. And he created a new raga, Nirmal Ranjani, which later on, Papa worked on that, and whatever the theoretical aspects need to be, always worked upon. And much later, I think this was 97 or 96, 97, somewhere around that year. Then I think somewhere around 2004 or 5, I created this another raga, and I named it Nirmal Kaus. So when we could talk about cons, so we have Malkos as which is also one of the main ragas, like we call the male ragas that we have. Then we have rags and we have ragnis. So that is one of the main ragas. So Malkos is there. Then we have different Rageshri cons, we have Bhageshri cons, and many other ragas. In itself, like we were talking yesterday, also you spoke about creating new ragas and all. There are, as I said, hundreds of ragas. Rather, I would say there are thousands of ragas either in North or the Karnataka Shaili. And when you consciously sit, it's actually very difficult to create a raga. So for me, the best way to create a raga is do nothing, it just happens. So this happened. So then when I
So,
composed it, I yes, sure.
Abhay, just one. I mean, right now I'm just thinking that actually, how do we, in a vibrational language, how do we define a raga? So what I'm getting is that there's a collective longing, and there is a cosmos which longs to channel through a human or humans. Is it like the raga is a bridge between that collective human longing and the cosmic longing? Is it that?
Uh, y- Certainly, I haven't been able to hear you properly. I'm not sure whether my network is bad or what happened.
Oh,
Uh,
Shiva, are you frozen? Should I repeat what he said? Or?
yes, please, because I couldn't hear.
Yeah, so Abhay, what he was asking is raga, is it a bridge between our human longing and the cosmic longing? Is it a bridge? Is it bringing them together? Is it
Yes,
is
it
it a
does.
union, or
Yes,
is it a
yes.
bridge to go, for them to meet?
It's absolutely the path because, and I'll share
I
this
I, I
with.
think Shiva is coming. Just I think he just logged in and he's just back. Shiva, are you here?
Yeah, sorry, I got logged off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was asking this question to Abhay. Was I clear? Did I remain
Yeah.
incomplete?
I repeated your words, and
Yeah, I
he
I
was,
I, I
yeah.
got it. So basically, from my personal experience, it's uh, you know the the thread between the source and us as a being.
It feels like the umbilical cord actually to me as a
Actually,
mother.
actually, yes. And I'll share a couple of my personal experiences. Of course, when I composed Rag Nirmal Kons in Sri Mataji's name, and after making the raga, I called her up and I said that this is the raga that I have made, and I'll be recording it. And first, I want to present it to you. um, I went to Papa and couple of little changes which Papa of course did, keeping the theoretical aspect in mind. But I didn't actually create this raga by conscious in some conscious state. It just flowed. I cannot take the credit of actually creating this raga. And the another amazing part is when I sat with Papa, I told him that why don't you write a composition in this raga? And Papa does write. I mean, he writes both in English as well as Hindi. So Papa said, "Okay, bring me the pen and the paper." And not, I think, more than a minute or two, he took and he started writing. And what he wrote, I'll just sing that composition for you. such kind of compositions used to be there hundreds of years back, which are slightly longer, because nowadays we mostly find four-lined compositions, two lines of sthai and two lines of antra. We have slightly longer Drupad compositions, but in Khayal we mostly have four, mostly. And when you talk about this meter is so perfect. And when I said, Papa, you wrote it so quick, and he said, no, I just wrote it. No, I didn't think about it. I just started writing, and Papa actually felt as if, Sri Mataji was telling him, okay, keep on writing this, and Papa wrote this composition. I'll just sing this, bandish that we have in this raga. So it basically it's just defining the mother as in the composition. Dai de na na re de re re na 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 re na re de na na re. Now this is the anga of course. Ni ga sa. So just a technical point. He Jaya Jaya Nirmal Janani Jaya Jaya Nirmal Janani Masadev Dhyan Magan Masadev Dhyan Magan सहस्त्रार बसत छिन में करत पार नाद मंडल तुम हो साहिब मन में उतर हरत पीर दुख हो पाप विनाशनी जय जय निर्मल जननी जय जय निर्मल जननी. तुम विदेश तुम सन अटक्यो मन मेरो हर पल तुम विदेश तुम विदेश तुम सन अटक्यो मन मेरो हर पल इतनी अरज करत माँ दरस दीजे दासन को मिलत परम आनंद जय जय निर्मल जननी जय जय. So this is the sorry composition. And very recently, last year, this happened. I was during last year, basically 2019. It's 21 now. So I was in Bombay while I was just making the music for Shikara. And one day I was just sitting, and I remember not doing much. I had my mobile in my hand, whether checking a message or doing something. Absolutely nothing to do with music that time. And I actually felt as if, something just flowed down, and there was a structure, a musical structure, which came into my mind. And immediately because I didn't want to miss out this, so I went on to my keyboard and, played it a bit, and the structure was absolutely clear. I really didn't have to do much about it, and I recorded it so that I don't forget it. Then, because it was slightly late, and then next morning I opened my Santoor, tuned it to the notes that came to my mind, and there was a structure, uh, as a new raga. And as far as my memory would go, so there was no other structure present in the ragas that I have either played or heard. So I called up Papa and I said, "This is something that happened yesterday." So Papa said, "Well, it doesn't look like a raga, but give me some time." So Papa was in Delhi, so he checked. He took, because we have the books that we have. So he checked around 1,000 scales. I was in Bombay. I checked another, the number of ragas out there, which normally we don't even play. So because it can, anytime happen that you could have heard something and you compose something, and that is actually already there, and a person might feel, people feel that, my father says that you can be a born musician, but you can't be a born composer. As a composer, you really need to learn compositions. You need to understand the regional structures. You need to understand the tribal structures. If I have to compose music for Punjab, there's no fun in using Kashmiri rabab into that. Commercial aspect is different, but when we compose a region, composing a piece for 1960s with keyboards, and the present modern beats, it doesn't match together. So one can always mix the things. So, but Papa also didn't find anything. I also didn't find anything. And finally, once I was in Delhi and I sat with Papa, and apart from the scale, I also got the name of the raga together with that scale, and the name of the raga which came to my mind, and it was like as if somebody's feeding the thing to me, and the name of the raga came as Rag Mahakali. So it's a raga, and there is no other raga, perhaps, if I'm not wrong, which is in Mother Kali's name. There could be, maybe, I'm not sure. So and along with that also came the composition. So this composition I wrote it this time, and I wrote uh, another. I'll share that. I don't remember that composition. Then another composition which Papa wrote for me. Then I asked him to write. Again, the same thing happened. He took the pen and the paper, and we had the composition in next 2 minutes. And so this talks about Mother Kali as Mahakali. So it's Hail, O Mother Kali, O Mahakali. You are the ultimate forgiver. My salutations to you. O Mother, please give me the ultimate joy. O Goddess, O Mother, my salutations to you. You are the greatest giver uh, and bestower. You are the taker, you are the destroyer of all fears, sadness, and disappointments. I solicit and pray to you, O Mother. O Mother, O Goddess, my salutations to you. So the composition is Jai Kali Mahakali, Kshama Datri Namastate. Deham Ma Param Sukham, Parameshwari Namastate. दानी परम दानी तू भय विषाद नाशिनी करत दास याचना मा भद्रकाली नमस्तुते. So the scale, the scale of this raga, I'll just sing this composition. Dai de na re de re ne na de na re na de na 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 da na da na na re na de na ne na 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 re mm, mm, mm,
Hey, it has been simply mesmerizing.
da जय काली महाकाली जय काली महाकाली जय काली महाकाली क्षमा दात्री नमस्तुते जय काली महाकाली हे जय काली महाकाली क्षमा दात्री नमस्तुते देहं मा परम सुखम देहं मा परम सुखम देहं मा परम सुखम परमेश्वरी नमस्तुते जय काली महाकाली जय काली दानी परम दानी तू दानी परम दानी तू भय विषाद नाशनी भय विषाद नाशनी करत दास याचना मा करत दास याचना मा भद्रकाली नमस्तुते जय काली महाकाली जय काली महाकाली. So
Thank you, Abhay. Thank you very much. And it has been so wonderful to know the raga creation process. And just the last comment or question from my side. One thing about Quanto Life, there is a lot of vibrational channeling which happens in Quanto Life. A lot of people receive the vibrations of gods and goddesses. Lots of people receive the vibrations of great beings. And I'm just wondering if there could be a raga like Einstein raga, where we tap into who the Einstein was and we present it to people. So people can just imbibe the qualities of Einstein in themselves, or a Gandhi raga. I'm just wondering, because for me, these people are like gods and goddesses actually. And I'm also wondering if there could be a raga to solve a world problem. For example, today people feel very chaotic, and in chaos they lose a trust for life. So could there be a raga which, like Malkons, take you from a stage of extreme sadness into bliss? could there be a raga which taps into the present
Wow.
state of chaos and takes you to the state of deep trust into divine? And I'm just wondering if we could contribute to resolving some of the global problems. Just a quick comment. I know it's something crazy and maybe something to ponder deep on, but just a quick comment.
I personally feel that with all the ragas that we have a number of combinations. So all if we talk about the healing process, or if we talk about having uh, people together, either spiritually or otherwise, but their minds being together, which primarily means that there has to be a peaceful environment. Uh, so then we need to purify a person, and purification can only happen when a person realizes the essence of the entire the being of a person, for which of course the spirituality is the path, and on that path the process which helps is nad. And when we talk about music, as we have been speaking, Indian classical music, and for that matter, even Western classical music, both these forms, but Indian classical music is far, far, far ahead. It's one of the greatest ways of achieving this path. Now, in the combinations of all these notes, each note has its impact on the chakras of the body. All the seven notes have an impact on different chakras. Different ragas have different impact, different kind of impact on the body. Now it would be like saying that if somebody is suffering from cold and cough, and we give him a chemotherapy, it's not really going to help him. For that, we need to give him a crocin. And if somebody has a fever, if somebody is unfortunately having cancer, then you need to go through chemotherapy in terms of medical line. So same way here, I personally feel we can't have one raga which can have that entire impact. Yes, the combinations of the ragas, we have the time theory in Indian classical music. So if we get up in the morning and if we listen to Rag Vibhas, it has its impact. And it's not important, and I think you really focus on that particular thing, that it's not important to understand the technical aspects of the raga. In fact, I tell that to young students, that you don't even have to remember the name of the raga which I'm playing for you. That's not really important. If you remember, perfectly well. If I'm playing Rag Bhageshri and somebody remembers that I played Rag Bhageshri, it's wonderful. But if he misses it out and says, "Oh, I heard Rageshri by Abhay," it's perfectly fine. It doesn't make any difference. Important is listening. Important is having the feel of that particular raga, that particular melody. Having enjoying that. One has to enjoy music. One has to enjoy. If the pakhavaj is being played, one should enjoy the sound of the pakhavaj. And enjoyment is not merely by listening. I think you already tell everybody that one can simply close the eyes and just be in that environment. I think it's even a blessing to be in such an environment. You are taking people to, classical concerts. I think even if 10 years down the line they can't still understand Indian classical music, it's still okay, because understanding of a raga is something very different. If it happens, it's very good. But listening to a raga, the appreciation of music is something which is more subtle than uh, trying to remember the technical aspects of raga. To me, it really doesn't make any difference between a person trying to understand the difference between rag Marwa and Puriya, rag Bhairav and Bhairavi. Uh, it's all music, and one should just enjoy the music. And I think more the people listen to Indian classical music, it will have its impact, because what we hear is not just something, because this sound doesn't stay out here, it travels miles and miles across and it has its vibrational effect also, which is being talked about here. uh, I think we should simply listen to great masters, the present musicians. We should listen to good music, preferably classical music, and it will do. It's the medicine which does its work itself.
Thank you. So Abhay, we really feel blessed that you became part of our vibrational field, and let's see where the journey moves, where divine takes us, and let's see what happens.
It's been such a pleasure. I hope I didn't bore people around, and
It was
No, it was pure
your
transmission,
singing
pure
was
transmission.
it was
more of
transmission
talking
and
and
it was
less of
pure.
music.
And there are so many comments have been flowing for you. Yes, but yes, thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much. And I'm so sorry I won't be able to continue more. I'll take your leave
Yes.
tonight.
Please take
Uh,
rest, but
yeah.
I don't think Abhay, we are gonna, I think we would love to continue. I mean, I
People
think,
are
we will
demanding.
see, yeah,
People are
people are
demanding
like, when are
4
we seeing
a.m.
you?
session.
People are
4 a.m.
already
session. They said, okay.
And I'm there anytime. It's just that unfortunately today I couldn't be with my instrument. It's like being without your soul. But then yeah, it's a little difficult. I think it will take me another couple of days before I can
yeah.
actually come back to my riyaz and all. Yeah. But
Uh,
thank you so much. It's been such a honor and such a
yeah.
blessing to be here, and I thank Almighty for having met all you wonderful people, especially Shivo. So thank you. It was absolutely so wonderful. I thank. The Madhya Pradesh government for inviting me this year, not 1 year earlier, not 1 year later. This year when you were there, absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Panditji.
Namaskar.
I'm touched by your love, Abhay,
Thank
and
you.
it feels wonderful that we Quantos got a new friend, wonderful friend,
Such a pleasure.
and we are like family actually.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
travel together, we journey together, we delve deep into the mysteries of life and create something together. So welcome to this space.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Get well soon and see you soon. See you very soon.
Certainly. Certainly. Looking forward. Namaskar.